Jangan lupa untuk subscribe dan tekan butang loceng untuk tidak terlepas dengan video-video perkongsian yang menarik dan bermanfaat di channel Unit Sumber Teknologi dan Pendidikan USTP PPD Manjung.
All, see you again in SPM Online Tuition, which is specially brought by Unit Sumber Teknologi and Pendidikan PPD Manjung. Today, USTP will bring the test on the tips course on English oral test paper, which is delivered by a teacher who has 14 years of experience, which is teaching English. She is teacher from SMK Seri Samudra. The person I mean is Cikgu Roshida binti Abu Bakar. How are you, teacher? Well, without further ado, I hand over this tuition to Miss Roshida. Please, teacher.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gunalan from PPD Manjung. And thank you to USTP PPD Manjung for this opportunity given to me today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon to everyone's watching today. I would like to share, in this session today, I would like to share some technical and non-technical tips on how to perform in SPM 1119 paper 3, which is the speaking paper. I hope that this session might give you, especially the students, some insights, especially to those who are struggling with speaking skills. All right. So I would like to share my slide today. Okay. Let us start with the objective for today's session. By the end of this session, I hope that participants should be able to use the tips to help them in SPM 1119 speaking paper. Okay, so first I would like to start with explaining what will happen during the speaking test, especially students. Previously, they have set for trial paper, which is a speaking trial paper, but it is more or less the same. However, it has slight changes or slight something different from compared to the previous trial paper. Okay, every candidate will be divided into sessions. So every day there'll be like two, if I'm not mistaken, two sessions. So according to the time allocated for you, okay, please attend the session that has been assigned to you. So all the students, okay, for that session will be put into a waiting room. In that waiting room, you are not allowed to bring anything. It's just you, yourself, okay, and your identity card, okay. And then when your name are called, okay, two of the students from the waiting room are going into the testing room, okay. So in the testing room, there will be two candidates, which is going to be called as candidate A and candidate B, okay, against one teacher, okay. However, the teacher is not called a teacher in that session. They are called interlocutor. So usually the interlocutor are teachers who is actually your English teacher, or maybe they are an English teacher from your school. So you can see the interlocutor, they are familiar faces. However, there is another teacher, okay. During trial, maybe the assessor, okay, the other teacher who's sitting next to the interlocutor is the teacher who is familiar to you, but during the SPM, real SPM exam, okay, the teacher who's sitting next to your teacher, which is the interlocutor, Okay, that teacher is called assessor. However, this assessor comes from a neighboring school. Okay, so assessor is an unfamiliar face. So the task of an assessor is to listen to you, and they are going to award you a score. They are going to award you with scores. Okay, in which the criteria of the scores will be explained later. Okay, so the session in the testing room will last more or less 13 minutes. Okay, then after that, candidate A and candidate B just now will move to another room called the quarantine room. Okay, and this situation will last until the final couple from the waiting room finish their turn. All right, so I would like to share also the overall spoken performance, which is the score that is going to be given by the interlocutor, okay, which is your teacher. What, in another simpler word, okay, what is your teacher looking for in your during the session? Okay, 6 marks. 6 marks are going to be awarded by the interlocutor. First one, the interlocutor is going to see or to assess your understanding of the question. Okay, whether you understand the question well, and also the instruction given. Okay, when the teacher said you are given 20 seconds to think, that means you are required to think. Okay, next. They are going also to see your ability to respond to the question that is given. Okay. And next is to maintain your ability to maintain and develop the interaction between you and the interlocutor, and also you as a candidate with another candidate. Next one is whether you are able to compensate a gaps. Okay, gap is actually a long pause. Maybe during that gap you have no idea to speak. So in this session, I will actually share with you what should you do if you have this some sort of like mental block and you have no idea on what to say, and you have a lot of gaps in your speaking. Okay, and finally is whether you are able to reduce the prompt or the support. Okay, the amount of support that you required from the interlocutor. The less prompt and support you get from the interlocutor, the better marks you have. Okay. All right. For assessor, which is the other teacher, okay, what they are looking for, there are three elements that they are looking for. The first one is the grammar. Okay, whether your grammar is accurate or not. Okay. Now, in speaking, we cannot avoid making errors. Okay, but if you notice that you make errors during speaking, what you can do is to, go back and correct, okay, the areas that you may identify while you are talking. Okay, next one is the cohesive device. Okay, please bear in mind that the use of cohesive device in talking is going to award you with marks. All right. The next aspect that they are looking for is vocabulary, whether this candidate has variety wide of appropriate vocabulary that should be used in their speaking. Okay, so the more you know, the more vocabulary you know, the better marks you are going to have. And finally is the communicative competence. Okay, this refers to your ability to be spontaneous. All right, so this is what I usually tell my students. It's good if you can just express yourself, even though you do not really have much of content knowledge about what you're talking, but as long as you just deliver. Okay, continue. Next one is your ability to initiate, maintain, develop, and close a conversation. Make sure that a conversation should look like a conversation between you and your partner, you and your interlocutor. And finally is your contribution towards your partner, whether you are um, contributing to his or her ability to speak. Okay, that's very important, compared to you are the one who's dominating the speaking session. All right. Okay, so I'll explain. I believe that everybody knows, but I'm going to touch on this technical part of SPM paper, which is the format of the speaking paper. it consists of three parts. Okay, the first part is an interview, in which I would say that the questions that you are going to get in first part is very simple. Okay, it's very straightforward. The answers are all very, it's very individual. For example, what's your name? What is your name? Where do you live? Things like that. Okay, every candidate will be assigned with same, or maybe some of them are going to be different questions. Okay, the second part is more or less like a presentation. You are going to be given an individual topic. Okay, one topic for each candidate. Candidate A, topic 1, candidate B, topic 2. So you are going to speak for 1 minute, but you are given some backup prompts if you have no idea. And finally, part 3 is discussion. So it's different from the second part. In the second part, you are the one, presenting. Okay, you present yourself, your ideas and stuff. But for part 3, it's like discussing. Okay, you agree and disagree on the given points. Okay, let's get to know the first part. Okay, some of the tips that I can share for the first part. Okay, this is a very simple part. First, when you introduce your name, okay, we would love to know you with your nickname. Okay, obviously you need to tell us, the interlocutor, what is your full name, but introduce yourself with a nickname. Okay, for example, what is your name? My name is Roshida binti Abu Bakar, but you can call me Shida, for example. You can call me Roshida. You can call me, okay, anything. Next, please bear in mind that when you are answering a question, please answer in full sentences. Okay, for example, where do you live? Instead of just answering Taman Samudra, which sounds a little bit rude, okay, what you can do is to answer in full sentence. I live in Taman Manjong Point. I live in Taman, Taman Melati and stuff. Okay, next one. How do you come to school? I come to school by whatever, okay, by walking, by bicycle. Okay, next. Another tips that I would like to share is to take the final phrase in the question and make it, okay, as the beginning of your answer. Okay, for example, what do you normally do after school? So you hear the word after school, you take that after school and start your answer. After school, after school, I normally do what? I normally take a shower. I normally sleep. I normally just give a simple answer. You do not have to elaborate. Okay. Next one. What does your family do on weekend? You can hear the word. You can hear the words on weekend. So you take that on weekend. My family do what? My family watch movie at the cinema. My family watch movies. Okay. That could be the simplest form of answer. Okay. Now let's go to part 2. Okay, so for part 2, we can see that this is a sample of question that you might see in part 2. Okay, on the top part of this box, table, you can see that there is a topic given to you. Okay, you might get a different topic for different session. All right, you have a topic, okay, a local food, or maybe just food, okay, but it's specified into favorite. And finally, you are going to see some bullets there. Okay, these bullets are called prompts. Okay, now the function of a prompt is to help, okay, a hesitant speaker. If a speaker does not have any idea, they can use the prompts. Okay, so for your information, candidates, if you choose not to use the prompts, it's okay. Okay, it's not a compulsory a thing for you to use the prompts. Okay, nama pun prompts kan, so it's a form of help if you need one. Okay, next, the first tips that I can give to the candidate. Okay, if they get the question, the first tip that I would like to share is to use the prompts. Okay, if they choose to use the prompt, this is the trick. When you use the prompt, please make sure that for every bullet written on the question, you need to give 2 to 3 details. I would say that 2 to 3 details is not enough. Okay, maybe you need to give more than that. For example, what the food is, the answer is 1, but you need to give more explanation and details about the answer that you gave just now. Where do you usually get the food from? That means you need to give more than one place. Okay, if you straightforward answer the food is nasi lemak, I get the food from food from my school canteen. I eat the food with my friend. This is my favorite food because it is delicious. You know, it's just 10 seconds and you have another 50 seconds to burn. So that's the reason why I think if you want to use the prompt, you need to give more details on with for every bullets that you choose. Okay. However, I have another tips. Okay. Um, the second tip is to avoid the prompt. Okay, is to not to use the prompt. Only use the prompt if you need one. Okay, so without depending on the prompt, you can use this technique called speaking glove technique. Okay, so speaking glove technique uses your hands, uses your fingers. For every fingers, they have a function. Okay, so for thumb, okay, you are going to give reasons every time when you know when you want to talk, you hold on your thumb or you touch your thumb and you are going to remember that, okay, this is when I have to give reasons for my answer. My answer is nasi lemak because it is. Okay. Now, for students who are able to give reasons, okay, congratulations, it's very good. But I can see that sometimes some students, they might have problems giving reasons because they cannot come up with the word. Okay, so I came up with this idea. Okay, this I would say safe answer for uh, why question, which is the word nice, interesting, stress, better, lots of benefit, and happy. So now maybe when you want to give reasons, you can use these ideas, these answers. For example, why do you like nasi lemak? I like nasi lemak because it is nice. Okay, if I change the question, what's your favorite sport? My favorite sport is football because it is nice. So the answer is still correct. Okay, so the first reason or the first answer, safe answer that you can use is the word nice. Okay, because it is nice. Okay, next one. Um, interesting. Okay, I like nasi lemak because it tastes interesting. So that answer is okay. I like football because it is an interesting game. It is also acceptable. Okay, next one is S, stress. Okay, because it releases my stress. So why do you like nasi lemak? Because when I eat nasi lemak can release my stress. When I play football, football can release my stress. Okay. Next one, B is for better. Okay. Better makes you better. For example, eating nasi lemak makes me better. I can be healthy and I can be full. Okay. For example, football makes me a better person because it makes me healthy. Okay. Next one, a lot of benefits. A lot of, and benefits, you can substitute the word benefits with advantages. Okay, a lot of advantages. Okay, because it gives me a lot of benefits, a lot of advantages. And finally, H, it makes me happy. It makes me better. It makes me happy. Nasi lemak makes me happy. Football makes me happy. The same thing. Okay, so for students, you can remember the answer for why question comes with an acronym of NISBA. Nice, interesting, stress, better, a lot of, and happy. Okay, next one. Your index finger. Okay, when you touch or when you want to use your index finger, remember that you are going to give examples or you are going to answer the question what. What is that? Okay. Um, for example, the question, who is your favorite footballer? Okay, so you can say that there are many examples of footballer in the world, but my favorite footballer is Cristiano Ronaldo. Then explain, okay, about Cristiano Ronaldo. Who is Cristiano Ronaldo? He is a football player from which club, which country, and stuff. Okay, next one, the middle finger. Okay, the use of it is to explain who, okay, to whom this will give benefits or with whom you enjoy doing this activity. Okay, for example, favorite food just now, I enjoy eating nasi lemak with my family. So if you say the word my family, that is very short. What you can do is to elaborate. Who are your family members? Okay, with my family members, my sister, my mother, my brother, you name it. Okay, next one. When? Okay, your ring finger. If you want to use your ring finger, you are going to talk about when. Okay, when do you eat nasi lemak? Oh, I eat nasi lemak every day in the morning. Okay, for recess. So you can see that there are more details of time when you use that finger. Okay, and finally, the smallest finger here, you use it to explain about where. Okay, where do we do this activity? Where we can buy it, where we can get it, and stuff like that. Okay, so when you talk about place, please be general and specific at the same time. For example, if you say that I can buy this nasi lemak in Manjung, that's very general. Okay, be very specific which part of Manjung that sells the best nasi lemak. Okay, next one. Okay, this is an example. Okay, I would like to suggest students, when you get your topic, you start with your index finger. Okay, there are many examples of the topic. There are many examples of sports like football, netball, and volleyball. Then only you answer the question. My favorite sport is football. Okay, in this case, in this topic, my favorite local food. So your topic, your theme is local food. Start with giving examples. There are many examples of local food. Okay, but okay, and then you give examples. Okay, such as something, something, and something. But my favorite local food is tosi, for example. And then you explain what is tosi, because for index finger, you are going to answer the question what. Okay, next, for why. Okay, give reasons, and you should give more than one reasons. Another tip is to share the reasons in different sentences. One reason, one sentence. First, I like nasi lemak because it is nice. Second, I like nasi lemak because it is delicious. Moreover, I like nasi lemak because, okay, eating nasi lemak can release my stress. So bear in mind, candidates, if you want to give reasons, give more than one, and give it in different sentences instead of just putting commas to it. Okay, I like nasi lemak because it is interesting, it is nice. That's not a good idea. All right, next one. Who? Okay, as I said just now, give specific details about the people that you are talking about. I'm talking about my family. Who are your family members? I'm talking about my friend. Who are your friends? Okay. Next one. If you're talking about when, be specific. What time, what day, maybe what month, and stuff like that. Okay. Give time and details for your answers. And finally, if you are talking about place, maybe you can be, as I said just now, give more than one places, and at the same time, you can also be specific and general at the same time. Okay, so let's move on to part 3, which is I would say one of the most difficult part, especially part 3 in the third phase. Okay. So in part 3, it is an interaction between candidate A and B. And as I said, there are 3 phases in part 3. Okay, the first one is you bincang all. Your question is going to be given in the form of mind map. So you are going to discuss all the points given in the mind map. The second one, you have to agree on 1 point out of that 6 given points. And finally, you are going to be given 1 impromptu question. However, this impromptu question, you are not given any time for you to think of the answers that you want to give. All right. Next one. For the first phase, as I said just now, you are going to discuss all the points that is given in the mind map. So, this is the tips. Okay, this is one of the tips I think you should do. Okay, the first one is to decide. Okay, between you and the candidate, you and your partner, what you should do is to decide who should start talking. Okay, it's like, okay, let me start speaking first, or else what happened during the test is going to be like, candidate A is hoping for candidate B to start, candidate B is hoping for candidate A to start, so that's going to waste time. Okay, Next one, tips number 2 is to identify the theme of the discussion. Okay, what is the theme of the topic? Okay, if you're talking about health, that is the theme. If you're talking about benefits of sports, sport is the theme. If you're talking about advantages of traveling, traveling is the theme. Okay, so identifying the theme might actually help you, especially when you don't have the idea, then you can actually talk about anything, under the world, okay, in the world, about the theme that you are given. Okay, tips number 3. Okay, this is what I think candidates should do. Okay, during the 20 seconds of thinking time, usually the candidates will keep quiet, do nothing, and pretending that they are thinking. Maybe they are thinking, but we need strategies for thinking. Okay, so I would like to suggest to candidates during that 20 seconds of thinking time, what you can do. There are two things that you can do. Okay, the first one is to divide. Out of 6 points, each candidate will take 3 points. Okay, why? Okay, I'll explain later. Okay, next one is to decide at that particular moment which is, out of that 6 points, out of 6 given points, which one is your choice. Both of you agreed upon. Okay, now why is that? Okay, why is that? Okay, let me explain. Right, first one, you before your speaking test, what you can do is to decide who starts first. Okay, next one is to, okay, the interlocutor will put the question in front of you. Okay, they will read out one general statement. Okay, maybe there are many ways to promote businesses. Then only, here are some of the ways to promote businesses. So they will start giving a general statement first, then only they give you the question. So when you are given a question, okay, when you are given a question like this, you are also going to be given 20 seconds to look at the task. This is sort of like thinking time. So why is it that I said you should divide and decide during these 20 seconds? Okay, imagine that if you have 6 content points and you do not discuss and you do not divide, you have to think about all the 6 content points. And your partner is going to do the same thing. She or he is going to think about all the 6 content points. Okay, tak ada communication. No, there's no communication. Who wants to take which one? Okay, so this problem, actually gives burden to your brain. Okay, that means you have to think about social media, you have to think about influencer, you have to think about free gifts, all. And at the same, maybe what will happen during the test is like you have so many ideas for influencer, but that was taken by your partner. Okay, so what we can do is to divide. So when you divide, instead of thinking of 6 points, you only have to think about 3 points. Okay, next, okay, instead of having to look at all points, you just have to look at your particular points. Okay, next, after you have divided, what you can do is to decide. So why is it important for you to decide now instead of later? Okay, when you decide now, it is very good because maybe you have a lots of idea about that point that you chose, that you want to choose, but your friend does not know about that. Okay, so this is the best moment for you to ask, okay tak kalau kita ambil yang ni? Kau tahu tak free gift tu apa? Oh, tahu, aku pernah dapat free gift. So that means she has a background knowledge about that topic that you choose. Okay, if for example free gifts, aku tak tahu gifts tu apa, your friend said that to you, what you can do is to opt for another choice. Maybe she knows about social media, so you can choose social media as the point that both of you agree upon. So it's better for both of you to discuss now. Later on, when you know the point, but your friend does not know the point, it's pity her lah. Okay. So next one, tips number 4. Okay, this this is just an idea, okay? This is one of the idea on how to kill time, okay? What you can do, the first person who should start this session, okay, should start with a preface, okay? Atau dalam bahasa Melayu, we call it as mukadimah. Start with a mukadimah. Okay, how to start with the mukadimah? It doesn't necessarily be Assalamualaikum. We don't have to say that, okay? A simple preface should sound like everyone is talking about, then you read the middle circle. So for example, everyone is talking about ways to promote businesses. That is one of your preface. And then after that, you can also, the candidate, the candidate who starts, could be candidate A or candidate B, up to you. Today we will discuss about the topic. Or the simplest one, if you are struggling with speaking, maybe you can just start with number 2. Today we will discuss about, then you read the middle circle. You read the topic in the middle circle. Okay. Next, then you pass the question. Okay. Shamim, what is your opinion? Actually, the first person who start, they need to give a preface, but actually the first person who need to start the discussion is the second person. Okay, the first person, if you are, okay, for example, Ali and Mutu, okay, Ali starts first. So Ali is responsible to give the preface. It's Mutu who needs to start the the presentation of idea. Okay, next one. As you can see, the last session, okay, the last sentence that ends your preface, it ends with a question, and that question is what we call as a passing question. So when we talk to our friend, usually we end our talking with a question. Okay, I think my handbag looks very nice. Do you agree with me? Okay, that is one example of passing questions that you can ask your partner. Okay, so end your session or end your turn of speaking with a passing question. So after you pass a question to your partner, it gives an idea that, okay, kawan saya dah habis cakap, jadi it's my turn to speak. Okay, so when your friend is done with giving preface, okay, now it's your turn. Now it's you. You have to talk about this mind map. So there are 2 circles in this mind map. Okay, the first one is the middle circle, is a topic, and the next one is outer circle. I'll call it outer circle. Okay, the outer circles are actually the points. Okay, so this is another tip that I share. Okay, with candidates. Okay, if you do not know how to speak, you need to know this flow of talking. Okay, the flow of talking starts with answering the passing question. Just now, the preface ends with a passing question. So, it's question, so you need to answer lah. Okay, so do you agree with me? What do you think? So, you take the question with the answer. Yes, I agree with you. Okay, second, you can start with, after you answer the passing, yes, I agree with you. Start with a cohesive device. First, okay, your personal phrase. Okay, personal phrase refers to phrases like, in my opinion, I think, I believe that, I personally believe. Okay, in my opinion, you read the middle, just read the middle circle. Okay, one of the ways to promote businesses. If you are a weak student, maybe you can just read. Ways to promote businesses is, okay, then you read the outer circle, social media. Okay, and if you have idea, step number 7 is to elaborate. Okay, step number 7 is to elaborate. What you can do is to, give examples. If you want to elaborate, the simplest way to elaborate is to give examples. Examples of social media that I know are 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then number 8, you pass the question. Okay, you give because just now your friend end his turn with a passing question. So you end your turn with a passing question. You do not wait. Okay, do not just keep quiet hoping that, okay, kau faham lah, aku dah habis cakap, aku dah diam. So, kenapa kau tak cakap? Okay, he or she might be, engrossed in thinking. So, he or she is not listening actually. So, what you can do is you pass the question. When you pass the question, your friend, your partner will know that, okay, his turn is over. Now it's my turn. Okay, right. However, I would like to highlight number 5. Number 5 is, right? But if your middle circle here is talking about reasons, you cannot like is, you have to use is because. Okay, so reasons to promote business. Okay, so reason to promote business is because, then you read the outer circle. And number 7, okay, I would like to highlight number 7. If, okay, if you have the idea, you can elaborate. But if you do not have the idea, you can skip step number 7. Okay, so now, please, okay, if you do not have any idea, skip. Do not, just squeeze your brain, try to elaborate, but at the end of the day, there are gaps. Okay, and your friend is like waiting, when is my turn? But you are trying to compute what you really want to talk. If you cannot continue, please pass. Okay, next one. Okay, let me show another example. Okay, so your point is social media. So you want to talk about social media, that's your point. Yes, I agree with you. First, I believe that ways to promote ways to promote businesses is social media. For example, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay, how about you? So your friend, he or she heard that passing question. So then, okay, it's like a badminton rally, right? Okay, you smash the ball. Sorry, it's not the ball. You smash the shuttlecock. Okay, the shuttlecock is in my court. I have to take it. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Of course. Okay, absolutely. Now, you are the new candidate. You are your partner. Okay, now this candidate is talking about discount. Just now I was talking about social media. Okay, absolutely. Moreover, I think the ways to promote businesses is discount. Okay, I have no idea. I cannot give example of discount. So skip it. Okay, do you agree with me? And then, you know, uh, the conversation goes on. Okay, according to the flow just now. All right, there are numbers of answers to passing questions that you can, respond to. Okay, you can say yes, absolutely, of course, that's true, that's right. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Okay, you can also use many cohesive devices that your teachers taught you in writing. Okay. Besides, furthermore, on top of that, plus subsequently, make sure that you use the correct one lah. Okay. Um, Not just suddenly, therefore, kan, it's not suitable to be used to, talk about sequence. Next one is personal phrases, like maybe, usually we say in my opinion, but you can actually alternate the use of personal phrases with, from my point of view, I personally believe that, I think, I personally think, in my view, in my point of view, things like that. Okay. But the thing that I would like to highlight here is the passing question. Okay. Make sure that after you speak, after you have done delivering your point, do not keep quiet. It should look like, a conversation between you and your friend. Okay. While we are casually eating with our friend in the canteen, kan, kita pun cakap lah, oh, saya hari ni sakit perut lah. Lepas tu kawan kita pun tanya, kenapa kan? Oh, sakit perut sebab ni lah. Kau rasa aku nak buat apa? Then only the conversation will continue to be dynamic. Alright? If hari ni aku sakit perut lah but tak disambut, then it becomes click. Okay, next one. When do you use passing question? Okay? The first one is to pass the turn. Okay, if you have finished speaking, what you can do is to pass your turn to your partner by asking the passing question. Second, okay, when you do not have any more idea, you are stuck. I mean, like, oh my God, suddenly something struck my brain. Okay, then when you are stuck, what you can do is to ask the passing question. And number 3, okay, especially those students who are struggling with speaking. You can speak, but your partner cannot speak. What you can do is to when he or she is very quiet, what you can do is to ask, what do you think? Maybe he or she will start thinking. Okay, next one. Tips number 5. Okay, tips number 5 is tips to speak longer. This is just a suggestion. Okay, if you can use it, good. If you don't think that, okay, I don't think this is a good idea for me, okay, skip. Okay, is to repeat your friend's point to speak longer. How? Okay, let me show you how. Okay, first, I show you an example. The example is like, social media is my friend's point. Okay, my partner's point. My point is discount. Okay, my point is discount. So my friend is talking about social media. And now my friend has passed me the turn and I have to speak about discount. What I can do is to say, yes, I agree with you. One of the ways to promote business is social media, to mention the point that was mentioned by friends just now, to mention the point that was presented by my friend. Okay, tadi my kawan cakap pasal social media, and now I nak cakap pasal discount, but before I speak about discount, I said, yes, it's true. Your point is true. Okay, ways to promote social media is ways to promote ways to promote businesses is through social media. But okay, I want to add another point. Okay, awak setuju dengan pandangan dia, but I have another point. But I want to add another point. But I have I have another idea. Okay, you can say that. However, I have another idea. In my opinion, then only you continue talking using the flow of talking just now. In my opinion, another way to promote businesses is discount. Then, just now your friend was talking about social media. You talk about discount. Before you talk about discount, before you talk about your point, you mention, okay, just mere mention your friend's point. That's how you can elongate your speaking time. And I've tried this with my students. It works wonderfully. Okay, especially when students cannot elaborate. When they cannot elaborate, they have time, they have lots of time to kill. So this is one of the method to kill the time. Okay, tips number 6. Okay, this is very important. Okay, when you have some sort of like imbalanced performance in speaking, you are good, your friends are not very good. Okay, what you can do is to help your partner by asking question to prompt him to speak. Okay, these are among the questions that you can ask. Okay, for example, are you okay, my friend? Shall we continue? Because he has been quiet for quite long. Maybe you can ask, are you okay? Can we continue this session? Then jawapan dia, okay, yes, maybe no. Okay, next one. What do you think about this point? You take the mind map and you point to the point that he is supposed to talk about. So that's the reason why, back to the earlier part of my presentation, I said you need to divide. Okay, next one. Can you give me examples of whatever that is on the paper? Can you give me examples of social media? Can you give me examples of influencers? Can you give me examples of small business that you know? Okay, this is rather a quite difficult question. Okay, but if you know how to ask, your friends is going to be able to answer this question. And finally, do you like whatever that is in the mind map? Do you like discount? Do you like free gifts? Do you like influencer? And then name one influencer. Do you like Ryan Bakery? And then when you say do you like, you ask lah, why? Do you like free gifts? Why do you like free gifts? Then go back to Nisbah just now. Because it is interesting. Because it is nice. Because free gifts makes me happy. Okay? So next one. Phase 2. Okay? This is the moment when you see that the interlocutor is going to say that, okay, now you have 1 minute to decide together. So when you hear that decide together, you have to discuss one selected point in the mind map. Okay? That you have decided just now lah. But please pay attention. This is a technical part of this paper. you need to start straight away. Okay, you are not given any more thinking time. Okay, please bear in mind, students, sometimes is interlocutor has to say, okay, start now kan. First time mungkin macam manis apa dia, you may start. Second time, please start. Third time, okay. Next one, only talk about one chosen point. Okay, do not talk about others. When you talk about others, you know, it shows that you do not understand the task. Okay, and no thinking time. Okay, 1 minute, straight away decide together terus. I think this. Okay, start. Just no more thinking time. Okay. Okay, tips number 7. Again, it helped my student last year. Is to share personal experience. If you have no more idea to speak, what you can do is to talk on your personal experience about the topic that you got. For example, you got the topic of traveling, so you share your personal experience on traveling. For example, I would like to share my personal experience about online shopping. I would like to share my experience about. That's the reason why you have to identify the theme. Okay. Next, last time you know, this is what my students did last year, and the topic was about traveling. I still remember listening to them. They were so engrossed in the conversation. Okay, talking about the trip to Phuket. Another one talked about the family trip to Langkawi. And 1 minute's done. Okay. Next one. This is an example. Okay, I would like to share my personal experience about promoting business. I bought something from Lazada. Then Lazada gave me free gifts. So free gift is your chosen point. So you give your personal experience about the point that you selected. Okay, next, phase number 3, which is I would say that is the toughest part. Okay, the impromptu question. Okay, this is an example, okay, of the question. What are some small business ideas for teenagers, and how they? It's, I would say, it's hot question. Okay, that requires you to have knowledge, to have lots of ideas about the topic that you're talking about. Okay, however, there's no thinking time, and you are required to speak for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is long. Okay, long. All right. I would like to share 4 tips. Okay, first, what you can do if you do not understand the question. Okay, if you have problems understanding the question, what you can do is to identify the familiar words from the question. Okay, for example, if you listen carefully, you are going to hear your teacher say that small business ideas, teenagers, start the business. So, pendek kata, your idea should talk about business, should talk about ideas in business, ideas of business. Okay, second is to give examples. Small business ideas such as 1, 2, 3. Teenagers can sell 1, 2, 3. For example, teenagers can sell for their business. Teenagers can sell food like, teenagers can sell clothes like, okay, hoodie. Then you name lah all the clothes that you know. Okay. Next one is to use the 5W1H. Actually, 5W1H is the same like the speaking glove I was mentioning earlier just now. Where they can start a business at a place, maybe in a shopping mall. Okay, why shopping mall? Because shopping mall is an interesting place. People go to shopping mall. Okay, next is again the same tips, is to share personal experience about what you hear from the question. I would like to share my experience about my family business. Okay, then you keep bragging lah. Okay, keep talking about whatever you have, the ideas that you have. Okay, next, extra tips. Okay, I think my slide is coming towards the end. Okay, extra tips. Number 1 is to control your pace. Okay, I've seen some, and bukan seen some, actually I've seen a lot of students who speaks for too fast. They were so excited to just, get everything out from their brain. Okay, but you have to make sure that you are not speaking too fast, but you are not going too slow. Okay, so control your pace. You have to train yourself to speak, I mean, like in a a considerable good pace of talking. Okay, so one of the tips, okay, to train your pace is to talk to your mobile phone. Okay, if you are iPhone users, okay, you go to notes and you look for dictation, and then you speak to your phone because your phone has a mic. Okay, has a mic icon. Click on the mic, you speak. If your phone can type whatever you say, that means, you know, they can read your pace. So that's how I train myself. I talk to my iPhone. Okay, and that's the reason why I have a reasonable good pace in talking. But today, because I'm racing against time. Okay, next is to control your nervousness, your feeling by holding an item. However, you are not allowed to bring in any pencil or pen. So I would suggest, okay, if you have a tissue, then you can hold your tissue. Okay, you hold your tissue, you grab your tissue, and I mean, like, you play with it, so that at least you can control your nervousness. And maybe you can bring in a very small paper clip, okay, and play with the paper clip so that at least you can, control. If this works for you, go. If no, you feel like, okay, I'm holding this tissue and it is making me more nervous, stay away from these tips. Okay, number 3, to avoid awkwardness between you and your partner is to create chemistry. Okay, in order for you not to be awkward. For example, I'll just take one example of people from this session. Muhammad Nabil, I don't know you. I know you. You are my student. Okay, for example, BJC, I don't know who you are, but suddenly we decided to meet each other, and you know that's the first time I speak to you. I might feel awkward. So that's the reason why I believe that you need to practice with your partner. Spend like 1 hour or half an hour a day to talk English with your partner. Okay, this is what I usually tell students to do, but like the ball is in their court. It's whether they want to do it or not. Okay. So one of the tips that I can share is, you cannot speak because you feel awkward, you feel shy, you feel like, oh my God, okay, awkward. Okay. The situation is awkward because you never talk to this person. So in order to avoid that is to build chemistry, and building chemistry requires practice. And number 4 is when you practice with your partner, you are going to know his or her weaknesses and strength. Maybe your partner is very good in talking and you are not. So you know that this person can help you. Okay, this person can help you. So you please tell your partner, you are good. Maybe you can help me to ask me question. Or if you are the good one and your partner is the poor one, what you can do is to give advice. Okay, sekarang I think you are having problem in this part. Maybe what I can do is to, you communicate. Okay, and finally, number 4, in order for you to speak, first you have to listen. Okay, listen to the instruction. If your teacher said that you are given 20 seconds to think lah. Okay, spend time thinking. Do not rush into it. This is not a race. This is not like who finished the test first will get number 1. No. Okay, take your time. When the teacher say okay, start, then you start. Okay, when the teacher is talking about favorite food, talk about favorite food. This is my experience. Okay, last year. Okay, the question prompted to the candidate was, what is your favorite fruit? Fruit. Okay, but the answer that was given by the candidate, my favorite food is chicken chop. And that is so sad to hear. It is like, because you rush, you really want to answer the question very, like, I really need to answer this question. So you rush to it and you didn't listen properly, and it's so sad to hear that. Okay, so please listen to the instruction and question carefully, so only then you can answer well. Okay, I believe that's the end of my session. I really hope that all the tips that I have shared today, like the speaking glove, the misbah acronyms, and also the tips in swimming, part 3 could be used by you. Okay. All right, Mr. Gunalan, the floor is back to you. Thank you.
Thank you to teacher Roshida for the tips on answering the SPM English oral for a while ago. On this occasion, I would like to thank the SPM candidates and the teacher who were able to attend this broadcast. Thank you also to the friends of USTP and PPD Manjong's learning sector who watched this broadcast. Don't forget to subscribe and fill in the attendance in the link given at the chat room. Until we meet again at the next session, bye-bye.
Jangan lupa untuk subscribe dan tekan butang loceng untuk tidak terlepas dengan video-video perkongsian yang menarik dan bermanfaat di channel Unit Sumber Teknologi dan Pendidikan USTP PPD Manjung.